Hi everyone, I just picked up WOOSH from my friend Alessandro over at Sampletraxx. You can see a link in the description. He does some phenomenal stuff. I have electronic drain, bleed, sign dust, stigma, which I'll also put a link to a demo I wrote for stigma using that. And now WOOSH, a very useful tool for cinematic stuff and for sound effects. Like I always tell my students, you can never have enough like different whooshes. There's, so many moments for them and everything else. So definitely a welcome addition to the pack. So a quick tour around the interface. He's using the Photosynthesis Engine. I'm in Contact 5 right now. The Photosynthesis Engine, if you're not familiar with it, I'll once again put a link to that. By a very talented designer, Jeremiah Pena. He has a much better explanation, and it's available to download from his site. But basically, it's a shell that you can actually load your own sample content into, and he has already set up layers and effects and like a rhythm engine and all this other kind of cool stuff, which we'll go into it a little bit. So he has the elements divided into fully designed whooshes. Okay, just a bunch of different contact instruments. So fully designed whooshes, and I'll play just a couple. You can see these are only playing back on layer 1. We'll get to that later on. Okay, so those are your big, built-up, already constructed kits that if you're not super comfortable with how to layer stuff, or if you just need some stuff quick, it's great for you right there. I'm going to go over here to Elements. Elements is kind of like more of your construction kit. Okay, so you're not getting as many of the impacts, but now you can play some stuff back together. And you can kind of build stuff up, like think like your kind of video game, like treasure or pickup sounds or ability power-ups. Stuff like that. You get the idea. I want to go over to Fast here. Okay, just a little shorter. Low boom, kind of like what it sounds. Alright, most of those end in that kind of low boom, like kind of, LFE dive impact that we're all so familiar with. And the stutters are pretty cool. These are kind of like your techie, glitchy. Okay, you get the idea. So now, the cool thing about the Photosynthesis Engine and why it's so cool that he's kind of delivering his awesome sample content in this is that there's some pretty cool envelopes built right into it. And you can quickly turn effects on and off. So just the easy one for effects I'm not going to get too into now. But you can turn on your insert effects, like your distortions. And you see how quickly that gets dirty. And then your send effects, like your reverb and convolution. Delay. Convolution, I'll turn off the reverb and the delay here, and we'll just go with Nightmare. Why not? Alright, cool. So that's just the rhythm, or the effects page, whatever. There's a lot of cool envelopes built right in, so let me see if I can just turn this down a little bit here. Okay. Let's mess with the pitch envelope. So I'm going to crank it kind of extreme, just because you'll hear what it's doing a little easier. There we go. Let's go on like 1 second. There we go. Alright, so what you're hearing there, you're kind of getting your own little riser and whoosh kind of built right in. So it's some pretty interesting stuff you can use with that. The amp envelope, I'll take this down so it's a pretty quick attack. Alright, maybe we won't hit the pitch as hard. Alright, cool. And of course we'll try a filter envelope out here. Let's get... Alright, I just want to set the filter for where I want it to go, and we'll say that's going to affect it by the max. You get the idea, you can hear the filter kind of sweeping down. So I'm going to go back to whoosh elements here. I just want to explore. Alright, cool. So the output engine, you're just going to get, this is kind of your master. I don't want to really hit on that at all. You can set up a compressor, some stereo width, transients. But I want to show you guys the rhythm engine right here. I'm going to flip over to source. And one of the things that's really popular in sound design and cinematic trailers and stuff is that kind of tremolo stuttered effect. Now the step sequencer here is something different. That's going to kind of re-trigger. I don't want that for this. I want to mess with this little area over here, the gain LFO. Okay. There's actually a preset for the one that we want to use. I want to show you the, where was it? Rectangle. Okay. Just sets it up. I want to turn off sync for this. We don't need sync. Alright, so I'm playing on what? B3? Okay. So right now there's no amount, so I'm not adjusting anything at all. So I'm going to turn this rate up because we're never going to hear it, just about midway. And rectangle, it's kind of bidirectional. Okay, negative 100, positive 100. We'll put that to 100 just so we can hear it. And amount, here I'm going to start to crank up. You hear that starting to chop up, right? So now, I want to make the rate a little faster. I want to take the amount way up. So everybody's heard this effect, I'm sure. We can randomize it a little bit. We can also creep that in. Or start. So let me turn that rate down. Now I have one hand on the mouse right now and my other hand on the keyboard, but you could actually, of course, hook these up to controllers and kind of tweak both of those at the same time to get a really cool, kind of trailery stutter thing. So that's a nice little feature of photosynthesis that you're able to kind of manipulate with these samples, and it is kind of prime pickings for the trailer whoosh stuff. So now that you have the idea what the whoosh pack is all about, I want to show you a quick trick for timing impacts and stuff like that with the whoosh, and also kind of what the layers are all about. So this layer mixer, by the way, I'm on the main engine page right here. The layer mixer, you have 1, 2, and 3 layers. So Jeremiah, the designer of photosynthesis, has just packed a layer mixer with 3 layers already set up with gain, pan, and tune. Super simple, right? Now for this, we're going to have to go into our main window over here. I want to take this back a little bit. And right now I have my wave editor up just so I can see what's playing back. B3. I have my mapping editor, okay, up here. And the other thing I want to show you is the group editor. So right now we have layer 1 RR1, and what RR1 is for round robin. So if you were doing another instrument in photosynthesis, you could layer different round robins on each of these, and they would cycle through them so you don't get that kind of like machine gun effect. Now we're not doing an instrument, so to speak, here. We're playing back these effects, so we're not really using the round robins at all. But you get layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, and he has 4 round robins already set up for you. Just like I said, it's a template. You can drop stuff in. We're not worrying about that right now. I'm going to turn off edit all groups, and I'm going to switch over here to layer 2. Okay. And selected groups only in my mapping editor just so I can clean this up here a little bit. So we have B3 that I'm playing back. Okay, what I want to do is I want to have an impact like you would do for a trailer, like, kind of let that play and then a boom. Now, I could map that to another key, of course. I have, some plenty of spare keys up here, or you could do it manually. It's just a kind of a quick trick, a way to work. It might work for you. You might want to chop it up and do it manually. It's entirely up to you. But the quick trick I wanted to show you is I'm actually going to go over to Files, and I think I already have. So I'm actually I'm in Bleed by Sampletraxx right here. Let's see. Let's get like a hit. Samples, impact, stingers. Perfect. All right, good. So over B3, I want to drag a hit here. And we'll drag another one for good measure. And now you hear what's happening. It's actually playing those back simultaneously, and that I don't want. What I want to do now is, since we're on this group, I'm going to come down to the group start options. Okay, the source right here, and I'm actually going to put release trigger. And what that's going to do is, as I release, it's going to trigger back whatever is playing back on the stuff that's labeled release trigger. So, hitting it and releasing it. Now, I think somewhere in our attack is way too long for that, so listen. Okay, so you can kind of time your release with where it's playing back in the key, and of course the other samples from the whoosh are already going to be playing back. So, of course, we can come over to our rhythm engine. Let's take that. Let's do it. All right, and you can see how you can kind of quickly start to build in some of these effects, right? Now, since with the pack that Sampletraxx has delivered, since we're just playing back his awesome, really well-designed samples, we can actually drag in if I go back to libraries here, we can actually drag in his sample content and mess with that the way we want. So I'm going to replace this with just the initialized patch here. And of course, if I go to my mapping editor, I have nothing here, right? So if I navigate over to my files, and let's go to, where were we here? Whoosh, samples. Here's just one of the designed ones right here, right? We'll just throw that. Might as well throw it on C3, right? And now we get to play back. Just like you'd play back regular samples, right? And you can manipulate that the way you want to, or you can just totally change out the effects here and kind of do whatever else you want with it too. Now, if you don't have access to Kontakt, it's not a total loss. Like, say if you're a film editor or a trailer editor and you just want some great sound effects to throw in, he has the waves right here. So you have your construction elements and everything else. He's offering playback in Kontakt as a way to kind of, for people who are comfortable with Kontakt and manipulating all that stuff, to be able to use it. But that's pretty much it. He's delivering the sample, so you can use that however you want in whatever DAW you want or any other sampler you want, if it's not Kontakt, and giving Kontakt users the option to really milk what's in the Photosynthesis Engine. So I think the pack is like $29, which is an absolute steal for that might be an intro price. I got to check on that. But definitely check out the other products while you're over at Sampletraxx, please. He's got great stuff. I've used it in a bunch of different situations. So yeah, enjoy. Have fun with it.